How can I get 1500 plus in 2 months? My current range is 1150. So these are very common questions, right? 1150 to 1500 plus. And we've got 2 months specifically. I assume then you're taking the October, or I guess you'd be taking the August, right? So it's like 1.5-ish months. So these are really hard questions to answer because there's a lot of things that you could do and should do and need to do in order to boost the score this high. Now, I don't know specifically in your case, your background. I don't know what grade you're in. I don't know how often you've taken the SAT. I don't know if you've done any preparation. I don't know what math class you've taken last year. There's a lot I don't know. So I'm going to speak in generalities about this question. What I would say is the question isn't as much how do I get from 1150 to 1500. The real question to ask yourself really is how do I get from 1150 to, let's say, 1200. And I don't mean that to say that's your potential. You can only get to 1200. What I mean is you're not going to make the jump from 1150 to 1500 plus in one leap. It's going to be a series of improvements. And so what you want to think about is what can I do to go from 1150 to 1200? Because what you need to do that is not necessarily what you need to do overall to go from 1150 to 1500. Because once you can hit 1200, that's a good improvement. 50 points is a good improvement. Then you ask the question, okay, how do I get from there to 1250? How do I get from there to 1300? On and on and on and on. And then hopefully eventually you make it to 1500. Because at each one of these stages, there's sort of different things you need to work on. So let me instead answer the question this way. What do you have to do to try to improve on, that, to get that first jump? Again, not knowing much about your scores, 1150 could mean a lot of different things. I could sort of give some general suggestions on things typically students in the score range might want to work on for each of the sections. We'll start with reading. I think the first thing there is the overall strategy that I just discussed would be a place to start if you're not already doing that. So going to the questions, finding specific questions, starting the passage, reading through, answering questions as you're reading through the passage, and also kind of focusing on finding evidence for your answers, also focusing on process of elimination, focusing on not just finding the right answer, but eliminating wrong ones. So basically the fundamentals at this point, right? If you're getting a 26 or 27 in reading or lower, there's probably a number of fundamental skills that you want to build on. And that's what I'd be worried about right now for reading. For writing, the main thing would be your grammar rules. So I would say go to our writing course, brilliantprep.com or learn.brilliantprep.com, and that covers all the writing grammar rules. Among other things, it's free. You can sign up for it now and check it out. The grammar rules. You're probably, if you're at 1150, making easily correctable mistakes with things like semicolons, dashes, commas, subject-verb agreement, pronoun agreement. So I think you can get a quick boost by just making sure your grammar rules are in shape. And then in math, probably you're looking at fixing errors in the easy and medium questions. There's probably a number of questions in the first, say, half of each section, half to 2/3 of each section, that are kind of more fixable errors than others. So I wouldn't be worried about number 20 in the grid-ins of section 3, or number 15 of the multiple choice in section 3, or number 30 of the multiple choice of section 4, or number 38 of the grid-in of section 4. I'd be worried about number 3, number 7, number 12, right? Those easy and mediums. So once you can do that, once you're hitting 1200 in your practice test, then you ask the next question, which is, okay, what gets me to 1300 from there? And there might be some different answers to that because you'll be focusing on different things. But think of it in that stepwise way, right? And it's kind of making constant improvements on all those sections, and looking for that next leap up. And the kind of tricky thing about this is the improvement from here to here. It's not going to be linear. You're probably going to have a really fast initial improvement, and then it's going to sort of flatten off and just sort of be excruciating slow in the last stages. That's just usually how this process works. But in any event, focus on that next 50 points, the next 70 points, the next 80 points. Once you got that in your practice, then worry about the next chunk and the next chunk and the next chunk.